Ayade signs 2 bills into law. Residents of Ogoja local government area lament effects of high cost of premium motor spirits on economy. Plus, mixed reactions trail court judgments sacking Governor David Umahi from office. A very good evening to you and thank you for joining us on the news tonight. I am Achibon Pasi. It will be no longer business as usual for corrupt political office holders as the Cross River State Governor, Professor Ben Ayade, has signed into law the Cross River State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission Bill 2022. The Governor also signed into law the Livestock and Grazing Management Bill to control the operations of herders as well as protect farmers. Paul Abel reports.
According to the Speaker, Cross River State House of Assembly, members went on a tour to France to understudy ranching and took time to study other anti-grazing laws in the country before concluding on the State Livestock and Grazing Management Bill. The state governor commends the Ninth Assembly for working together to achieve the feat despite differences in party lines. The bill, now signed into law, described as comprehensive, seeks to protect herders and farmers with penalty for offenders.
There's a protection for the herders, there's a protection for the farmers. This way, we did not absolutely ban, but we controlled grazing, we control movement of cattle, and made a provision that all movement of cattle within the state has to be by vehicle. So we don't have this trekking through farmlands. So for those who don't know, this law is not designed to destroy our farmlands. It's also not designed to exterminate the business of herders.
The other bill, Cross River State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission Bill 2022, empowers the public and the Assembly to serve as watchdog to protect the resources of the state.
That guarantees transparency in the way and manner we handle our public offices. That brings the watchdog closer to us and brings us to a point where we have ultimate value for the resources of our state. The beauty of this law also is very corrective. It helps to prevent rather than to penalize.
The bills, according to key players, will serve as a base for peace and development in the state. In Calabar, Paul Abel, Nta News.
If the appeal court upholds the Federal High Court's judgment that sacked the governor of Ebonyi State, it will go a long way to instill sanity among elected leaders, thereby strengthening democracy in the country. Some legal practitioners stated this while expressing divergent views on the Federal High Court's judgment, which ordered the removal of the governor of Ebonyi State and his deputy from office for defecting from PDP to APC. Justina Whitson reports.
The movement of elected leaders from one political party to another, as in the case of Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State, who defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress, is not new in Nigeria. However, the ruling of the Federal High Court, delivered by Justice Nyange, which sacked the governor and his deputy from office, if upheld by the appeal court, is believed would set a template for an end to incessant defections, which does not spell good for Nigerian democracy.
Some people may condemn the judgment, but going constitutionally, that judgment is a good judgment. It is the beginning of a new thing, politically speaking, in Nigeria. It will check these excesses of people defecting for their selfish reason. People will no longer defect again because they will understand that once they defect and a case is brought against them, of course they will be shown the way out.
Though those defections are attributed to the quest of political gladiators to remain in the winning team, which does not encourage the promotion of ideologies that will better the lot of the masses, another legal practitioner argues against the Federal High Court's judgment.
People do not vote for political parties, they vote for individuals. There is no express provision in our constitution or in our laws that says when a governor defects. And that's exactly where I was directing my point to when I said it is only the House of Assembly that is empowered by law to impeach a governor.
Already, there are different court judgments restraining INEC from effecting the Federal High Court's judgments, sacking the governor. And though Governor David Umahi has urged the appeal court to nullify the judgment, whether the appeal court will rule in his favor or not, time shall tell. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
Motorists and residents of Ogoja local government area, as well as those in the northern region of Cross River State, have continued to lament the high cost of premium motor spirit, also known as fuel, and its impact on the socio-economic activities of the people. Oba Hyacinth, who went round some fuel stations and markets, reports that fuel is now sold between 240 to 250 naira for a litre, as against the 165 naira approved pump price, inversely inducing hike in prices of goods and services around this axis of the state.
This development, respondents say, is not good for business. For Friday, Ikpakpan, a commercial driver, he says the arbitrary increase is yielding negative effects on businesses and urge government to reverse the trend.
We cannot even fuel our car to our destination. Traveling down there to go and buy, the thing will be very high, and when it comes, we must add something to cover up the fuel.
We are buying a black bucket of fuel, 400 naira. A liter of fuel here now we are buying 250. In the evening time, we are paying 300.
Our business is no they move again because of the fuel. Like mostly like we where they use motor, they do transportation.
Other respondents spoke in like manners about the rise in the price of goods and services. They appealed for government agencies to do the needful to reverse the ugly trend.
Onitsha here, first time we pay 6,000, now they say 10,000 with transport. Go and come, we are paying 20,000.
Because I dey go Makodi before, na 3,000 naira. Now they pay 3,500. The gallon for fuel, oil I buy. I can't they pay 700 naira. Oh God, the thing, it's too much. Government made a try, made they bring the price low, so that we go fit pay the transport.
The respondent maintained that there is need for all critical stakeholders to address all issues leading to the illegal increase in pump price of fuel and curb it so as to check the hike of prices of goods and services. Oba Hyacinth, NTA News.
You are watching news reaching you from the studios of Nta Calabar. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at YouTube/Nta Calabar. See you shortly. Good to have you back. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAMB has asked students to hold their institutions responsible for inability to access admission letters. JAMB says its advice to students was predicated on a series of complaints by students that it was delaying their call to the mandatory National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) through delay in issuance of their admission letters. In a statement by its head of media, Fabian Benjamin maintained that issuance of admission letters to students could only be facilitated by schools through upload of students' particulars. The board therefore appealed to institutions to immediately upload appropriately the matriculation numbers, names, discipline, year of graduation, and other necessary details of the candidate for the board to process the candidate's application. The Enugu Zonal Command of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) have arraigned a staff of one of the prominent banks in the country. The State High Court for forgery and obtaining by false pretense. The 7-count charge is about the staff fraudulent obtaining 190 million naira from the complainant, whom the staff was his account officer. The defendant was also petitioned for forging 2 fixed deposit certificates and fraudulently obtaining a total sum of 260,047,000 naira for a customer under the guise of fixing the money for him. Akwa Ibom State Government, through its Ministry of Agriculture, has flagged off the 2022 first planting season as part of efforts to achieve food sufficiency. The event, held at the Seed Multiplication Farm, Ikot Akam, Abak local government area, also witnessed the distribution of agricultural inputs to farmers in the state. Wisdom Jacob reports.
Flagging of the 2022 first planting season and distribution of agricultural inputs to farmers, Commissioner for Agriculture, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Mary Bassi, thanked Governor Udom Emmanuel for approving the distribution of farm seedlings to farmers in the state.
We are here to make food to be available in Akwa Ibom State so that we will not be suffering ourselves.
Stakeholders say they are optimistic that farmers in the state will experience bumper harvest this year.
Without food on the table, nothing can really happen. So we are going to make sure that today is very rewarding.
You are working with farmers because you are a practical farmer. You have been giving farmers input.
Giving farm input to farmers. This is not done because the state is so rich. It's because we have attached importance to agriculture in the state.
With the provision of quality and improved seedlings to farmers in Akwa Ibom State, it is expected that they will reciprocate the gesture by making proper use of the farm inputs for good harvest. Wisdom Jacob, NTA News.
Another commercials broker. Do stay with us. See you shortly. Good to have you back. Now to the rest of the news. The Cross River State Police Command has declared Master Triumph Agbo Ate missing. Triumph Agbo Ate resides with his parents at A Block Room 40, Otobo Basi Police Barracks, Calabar. Triumph Agbo Ate is 11 years old, fair in complexion, speaks English language fluently. He is a student of Midfield College, Lemna, Calabar. He left the house on Monday, 14th of March 2022 at about 5 o'clock in the evening to fetch water within the environment and has not returned home. All efforts to trace his whereabouts proved abortive. The command hereby appeals to the general public with useful information to report to the nearest police station or call the GSM number 0703 898 0121 or call the Police Public Relations Officer Irene Ubo on 0806 855 9326. Muslim faithful have been admonished to be obedient to Allah and those in governance, for lack of obedience is the burden of peace worldwide. This was the message of the Imam at the Jumat Central Mosque, Calabar Road, Calabar. Correspondent Benny Achibong was there and reports.
Allahu Akbar.
Scores of Muslim faithful converged on the Central Mosque, Calabar, to pray and receive lectures on the topic obedience and how to abide by the message from the holy books.
No matter the social status we are having or we might belong to, no matter how rich or how influential your family can be, if you have been placed under somebody, just try to have that spirit of obedience, because that was one of the companions of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Some faithful speak on the day's message.
The message is just that if there is peace in the land, if there is love, there's going to be peace. So we should love one another. Being a Christian, being in any religion, traditionalist and all the rest, we must show the love that God has even created us for. So I see no difference. It's just that we came to the world to know that we are Muslim, we are Christian, we are all from the same Adam and Eve.
The message to them is to make sure that we all turn to God, obey God and follow our holy book. Not only Muslims, even the Christians as well. We must follow our holy book, the Bible. So there are good words, good messages from these holy books that we must turn to God.
In Islam, Friday prayer or congregational prayer is held every Friday afternoon in accordance with the Arabic language Jumat, meaning Friday service. In Calabar, Benny Achibong, NTA News.
To end the news, a recap of the major stories. The State Governor, Professor Ben Ayadi, has signed into law the Cross River State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission Bill 2022. Residents of Ogoja local government area and its environs have lamented the high cost of premium motor spirit, fuel, and its negative impact on the economy. We also told you that mixed reactions have continued to trail the court judgment sacking the Ebonyi State Governor, David Umahi, and his deputy from office. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do enjoy your weekend.